to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to a meeting of the Stamford Selectboard. If you have a matter to discuss that is not included on the agenda, you may do so by addressing the chairperson and stating your name and address. You will notice that all our meetings are recorded. This is to aid in the summarization of the minutes. Visitors are welcome, and we allow 5 minutes of comments per visitor and 15 minutes per topic. Discussions will be held in a common, civilized manner and respectful of others. Select board members present are
Mike Denal.
Nancy Brashika.
Doug Wright.
John Dunn. Kirk Gamar.
Will there be any adding of items or removing items from tonight's agenda? I think I have any. There may be another executive session for personnel. I'm not sure yet. Depends if. Oh, yes, there will be one. Yes. Yes. Whether or not, yes. Will there be any adjustments to the agenda, such as changing the order of items? No. Okay. Hearing the visitors. Deb.
I am the liaison with the Bennington County Regional Commission. I feel it's a position that would be better served by somebody from the Planning Commission now, and it's my understanding that Dan kind of up in the air whether he's actually a liaison along with me. So I know that Lisa Gramlin has always gone to the meetings via Zoom or even in person. And I thought it may be a good idea to get her on board with more of an authoritative position where she could actually vote with the commission on behalf of the town. So I didn't know if that's something we could talk about now.
Do you want to stay on or step down?
I would like to be replaced by Lisa.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that would be fine with me for the liaison. I don't know if we have to wait until March, or, because like tonight, I wanted to come to the meeting, they also have a meeting. So Lisa ended up going to the meeting tonight, or at least via Zoom. I could have sat here with my headphone and done that too, but yeah, it's kind of tacky. So just a thought, if you could give it some consideration, whether, you know, if it's something you guys would support, I'd be happy to submit my resignation in favor of Lisa doing that.
I think she'd be great at it. She's up to speed and all that.
She's up to speed,
Yeah.
she's really, much more so than I am at this point, because I'm not on the planning commission, I'm just.
Is Dan, we don't know if Dan's been attending or not?
Well, it's a vacant position. I guess he wasn't interested in going anymore or something.
The reason why I'm asking, I'm a little hesitant of having you step down if you wanted to kind of.
Oh, do it.
I didn't, I'm saying maybe you could help her out a little bit. Maybe you don't have to be in a position, but still,
Well,
you know,
if Dane's not in, or
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe you would want to stay on.
And have
And
her
not- yeah.
maybe take Dan's position until March and then have her just.
Do we
fine
want
with
to
that,
appoint
yeah.
now or
Sir?
just wait until March?
Well, it wouldn't be bad to have her in an official capacity right now.
Yeah.
If Dan's
seems
not.
to be a lot going on.
There's a
So
lot.
I'm happy to stay on, but I'd be,
You guys sent out letters this past March saying, would you like to be reappointed or not? And if you didn't hear back from the person, you did not make the appointment.
Okay.
So I believe Dan is under the impression that he is it and has been going to meetings, but he hasn't been officially appointed.
Maybe we should reach out to Dan and just ask him then. I don't want to step on his toes, but I'm just saying, that if it is open and we can appoint Lisa, we can do that. If not, and we have to wait till March, and then
okay.
if you want to step down. I'm just saying, it'd be nice to have the two
Or if
of
one of you resigns, you can appoint.
yeah. I mean, if you resign right away, I guess we could appoint Lisa.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, should we, I know,
Let's reach out to Dan though. I don't know, when's it, there's a meeting tonight, when's the next meeting?
Oh,
I mean, do we have more than 2 weeks?
yeah.
Just tell them what's going on, you may very well say, let her have it.
Yeah, let her have it, that's what I'm saying, if there's more than 2 weeks for that
Great
meeting,
job.
our next meeting, we can do it.
Like, she's there tonight because
Yeah,
I wanted to be here, so she's kind of a.
but she can't vote.
No, and there really wasn't anything important to be voting on right now.
She can still have her say though, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we should reach out to Dan, if he doesn't want it, that's fine,
If not,
that
we'll
way
wait March.
you wouldn't have to resign.
Good.
Dan, if Dan says, I don't want it, we can appoint Lisa next meeting.
Or you can resign next meeting and we can appoint.
And then we can appoint her in your position, if Dan wants to keep
Then
it.
the term expires
VCRC.
in March. I think
Well,
it's
that's all right.
I know that we
That's all
have
right.
to send the letter
Yeah.
again, go through the process.
There's a lot going on, I don't know if we should leave it vacant,
What,
even if it's just a couple months.
Shouldn't
There
we-
seems to be a lot going
shouldn't
on.
leave it
Yeah,
vacant?
there's
Oh, what's
I
that
mean,
hurt
like
to have
Janet
her?
Hurley right now is now been
She's-
appointed to.
What's it hurt to have an appointment
She's,
for a month or two?
It's like
It's not gonna
rewriting the
hurt.
whole regional plan
Yeah,
and
she's-
stuff right now, they're going through.
Yeah.
They're going through changes and it's.
She's going in anyways, might as well have someone to represent the town, just in case, you know?
So when your liaisons go to the regional meeting,
Mhm.
do they know what our planning commission wants? I mean, the planning commission will say, vote this way or vote that way, or
That's
are they just
it.
voting
Yeah.
their own opinion? Or are they voting what the board tells them to vote?
I don't know
She
what the
brings
other-
back information from those meetings that she goes to.
Yeah.
So she'll go to the BCRC meeting, she'll come out and she'll give us, sort of a rundown of what they're contemplating and what they're redoing and what they're changing from sort of
Yeah.
what we've always thought. And then that instigates conversation amongst.
So the next meeting, she feels what the board wants.
Yeah.
Right,
she's-
and
Okay.
any,
You have a voice
anybody
at the
can go
table
to those
more than a
BCRC meetings.
Yeah,
You
anybody
don't
can.
have to be on the planning committee or select board, any citizen of town can go, cause, like the whole windmill thing is up again now, and they're changing the distance, and they're, it's all, and they're like, well, it's not mandatory, but we're thinking it should be this, but, they're voting for it, and so that is a slippery slope to all of a sudden, it's like, no, we're doing it.
Yeah, and it's really, she's just so educated on everything that's been going on
Yes.
region-wise. I just think it would be much more valuable for the board, for the planning commission, and everything.
I agree.
So we'll reach out to Dana.
At my next meeting, we should know which way we're going.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other visitors? Yes.
I was wondering if the board, after sitting through the abatement hearing, the board was going to consider putting a warrant out for accepting taxes with a date stamp, that we don't now, since nobody can at this point, because I think the app had to be in today, if I'm not correct, I could be wrong, either today or tomorrow, nevertheless. But you guys have the ability, I guess, to put it on as a warrant. I was wondering if you were
really
gonna
haven't
consider.
discussed it.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring it
I'm
up
just
under,
bringing-
yeah, under new business, I was gonna bring the same thing up.
Yeah.
But I think it's a valid idea, there's just a little bit of negativity saying that people could,
Yeah,
I guess we gotta make sure we can do it.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it
Yeah,
up, just
I don't know
just in
how long
case
we would
nobody else
have
was
to
doing
put the warrant on, but, I'm not sure if I wasn't really paying attention to that after meeting that was, they were kinda like, saying that the proof wouldn't be there anyways, because, you know what I mean?
If you postmark it, it can still show up 2-3 weeks later.
Right,
And how long does
yeah,
that
so you
delay?
postmark it and then you still hold on to the damn thing. Then Sally doesn't get the list.
Or it's just
You know,
lost in the
time.
mail.
Yeah,
And then it's
yeah.
only a week or something,
So,
just like it.
I don't know, I'm I wanna look into it a little bit
Yeah,
more.
like I said, that was something that I had been considering doing personally myself, to put it on as a warrant. I just ran out of time doing it, because it just seems like everywhere that I've talked to that collects taxes accepts a postmark. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how it'd be interesting to know how they navigate it, I guess, to see
Yeah.
like what their process is. I guess I didn't ask that, I just
Right.
asked if they actually accept the postmark date,
Can
so.
Can you put it out on your Uninet, Lori, or ask the treasurers, and do they save the envelopes? How long do they save them? How long do you wait? Does it get stuck in the
Yeah, because there could be
mail
some,
person's car, or what?
there could be some fraud here, that's all.
I don't-
But it's, what's happening now, the post office is definitely not holding their side of it.
For sure.
It seems like there might be a job opening for me, just to say, hey, anybody wants their mail, I'll get it while I'm up there.
Right.
You know, give me $5 or
I don't
$2.
think
$2.
I don't think they'll do
That's
that.
right.
Didn't we talk about that?
If you notify them, they will.
Oh, okay.
Because I pick up, well, I don't, my wife picks up all our family, everybody. You know, and then if someone, one of a friend, a neighbor or someone wants it, we can take care of it. But you gotta notify them. But Tammy's pretty good about saying, yeah, I know you're picking your sons up, you know, here we go. But you gotta notify them.
She may lose her job.
Tammy might?
No,
Oh.
Teresa,
Oh,
on
Teresa?
Saturday or next Saturday.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, that's right. She's not getting paid, and it's costing me
Oh.
money right now.
Any other visitors or any questions? Okay. Reading and approval of records and orders, January 2nd, and the emergency meeting of December 31st. May I have a motion?
Was I here on the second?
No.
Second. You were here.
It was
Was
one
that
week.
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago? I was here
Last
2 weeks ago, I wasn't here a week.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was here last, the budget.
No, you weren't.
No, I was here a budget meeting, yeah.
You
okay.
weren't here.
Last week I was here, the
Both
week
of you
before.
were.
Emergency,
So I can't make a motion.
was about ARPA funds.
Emergency meeting, I was
You
there,
were here.
but I wasn't on the second, so I can't.
Emergency meeting, you were here.
We had a budget meeting last week,
You signed.
I know.
You weren't here.
Well, you just told me to sign all that on
Oh.
this now. Just erase it, throw it away.
The second, you
I'll
weren't
donate
here.
my money back like Donald Trump does.
Second, you weren't here, okay.
Don't seem to get no line from my website.
I know. We'll go over. You'll set with motions and seconds
I don't think anyone.
I made a motion to approve, and nobody,
I wasn't here for either one.
nobody seconded
You were here for both. Yep.
I was?
No, John, Doug, you can
Doug was
second.
here for both.
Second.
Okay.
Kurt, you need to sign for tonight.
Okay. $27.
Yeah, I forgot, they take taxes.
Road conditions.
Same every day, snow. I think it snowed every day for the last 2 months now, something like that. We're predicting
It's like
snow.
groundhog.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we've just been out battling the weather 1 inch at a time here, I guess. We've had plenty of equipment issues and breakdowns, but we worked our way through them, so. Nothing extremely major. I had my wind plow come off the truck yesterday morning and blow out the tire.
No kidding. Right in front of my house. It was like, just came off.
Well, the pin that holds the front on, the top of it broke off. Just, fatigue over years and years. It come off and come out and blew out the front tire. It's just a little bit of drama. But, I just went down and got the other truck and finished the job.
Marty, come out and give you some coffee.
It was like by the time I realized that something was really going on, he'd already gotten a ride back, but I felt bad. I was like, anytime that happens, just come in, my house, you know, like, come in, make coffee.
Pre-op inspections are
Yeah,
important.
we look over the stuff, but it's nuts and bolts break, you know, vibration thing. And
I had a, not to like drag this on, but I thought I had a U-joint going bad in my truck. I looked, the U-joints are all good, and I started looking around, and all of a sudden the lugs on my dualies are falling off, and the wheels falling off. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so, yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
worth taking a walk around, making sure.
No doubt, that's, I mean, we do a lot of that, actually.
You only get one.
It's typical that the bolts in the plow frames fall out and things like that happen. This is just one of those. Just, you know, just like, well, it's time, I guess. Yeah, but we gotta, I gotta put the wing band on, but the truck's using more at the moment, so.
But still,
And the control box in the other truck,
Replace them all.
and the RAM, the electronic control, like, like that. There's always something that, it's a continuous battle to keep these things. The loader a week ago had a sensor in the DEF tank for the emissions that went, that was saying that the DEF tank was overheating and stuff, it was only just long enough to load. But that's all straightened out now.
So you're a maintenance man,
All new
road
springs
guy.
and lunch truck, jack of all trades. Yeah, pretty much. The grant writer, the mechanic, the operator,
On call in the winter 24/7.
pretty much.
Worth your
every-
weight in gold.
Pretty much every day. But, I don't know, pretty much the same every day. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
I finally got rid of the chipper I thought we inherited. It's been there since before.
Were you
What's the
charging them
chipper?
rent?
Yeah, I threatened to tow it and they finally come and moved it.
where was this chipper?
Right by our gravel pile. It was kind of in the way there. They left a message before Thanksgiving saying it was gonna be there 2 days.
Who,
And the
whose
number,
chipper
it was Lewis Tree Service.
Oh, okay.
And then
And,
they took it today and didn't change it down.
yeah, 'cause
Didn't go
I
find
think
chains.
they didn't bring any chains to bind it came down. I think they're feeling bad about leaving it there for a couple months.
You should have used it.
Yeah, I thought about
Yeah,
getting rid of it
really
plenty of
cool
times.
machine.
They could have left, but I was afraid they had GPS on it, so.
You were just keeping it safe for them. that's all.
Yeah, I finally called their corporate office and told them that I was calling yet. So they hurried up and got somebody there. But the number that the guy had left on the phone, I tried calling numerous times, got no response. So, I don't know. And you just one day goes by, another, and after a while, it's almost a joke that it's still there, and you thought you were gonna own it. They just abandoned it, but it's just not. I don't know.
Keep up the good work, Dave.
Yeah, we're just doing what we can do.
That's it? Lori, review and adopt Stamford Town Highway Ordinance.
Yes.
Yes.
If you guys will take a look at this, a small typo was pointed out to me, but the main reason you're doing this is because I was sick over Christmas and missed the deadline to publish, and it's all, in a time, in a time frame. It has to be done timely. So we have to start with
Is that this?
Yeah, we've looked
The
at
highway
this.
ordinance.
the highway
Yeah,
ordinance.
we've looked at this many times. Motion to sign. You guys can look at it. I've read it.
Second.
Enough times.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think part of the problem was I had it on the agenda for review. There were a few revisions made and you accepted it and we're gonna sign it at the next meeting. But then 2 weeks later, when you sign it, now the publication is 2 weeks after the adoption, but I didn't have a signed copy and everything just happened, so.
Well, thank you for picking up on it and keeping us straight,
So, I'll just-
following the law and does have a checklist for all these adoptions that she's gotta publish by, sign by, in the paper by, and she's gotta keep all that. And
I don't know how you keep it all together, Lori. I have a hard enough time doing stuff like that.
put sickness in there, and family sickness, and Christmas, and,
Oh,
I don't know how you,
That's not,
how do you,
yeah,
We did not have Christmas, we were so sad.
everybody.
Mike's on it?
Oh, it was smelling hot,
think
and I got
it's
this
this.
infection.
Oh, you already.
oh, no, that's Lori.
Oh, that's all.
That's Lori's checklist, yeah.
Thank you.
Review and sign requests for 2024 grant and aid grant payment.
Okay, which was this one. This is a $10,000 grant that Dave worked out with, Jim Henderson. They anticipate it to cost $12,600.
What was it for?
This was work that you did this past summer and we're submitting for reimbursement, so the costs were incurred in 2024, we're not gonna get reimbursed till 2025. The Jepson Road culvert replacement and brick wrapping and ditch, stone line ditching.
Is that the clean water?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
12,600, is that the blanket select board report that I,
I don't know, was that the final number of it?
$12,627.84.
And we got about 10,000 of it.
Yeah, our match is 26.
Yeah.
27.
and
I'm sure
they
we-
used to add gravel and stone line the ditches and just on Jefferson Road or other?
Yeah, there's two culverts, some gravel and some ditch.
Were you allowed to use a match like we've done before, where you
Well,
used
we went over a match if we consider what,
Right.
go over the extra. Well, really, yeah,
this
that is our match.
we have-
Right.
Okay.
The
You already-
2,600, because our time is included in that, our
Right.
equipment's work.
Well, I just want the townspeople to understand that the match comes from your work.
What we
Not the
actually,
money.
what we actually spent on that is.
Yeah.
We took money in.
Right. Of course we
It didn't cost the town anything.
Right.
We got money back.
I just want people to understand that, because it seems like, people think that we're spending money even on matches that we're not.
No.
Because they're good investments we made in the future,
Years
or
ago,
the past, we're doing that.
years ago, you would have been paying the match.
Right.
The way we operate now, I actually bring money.
Right.
So look at the first page.
On top of everything else you did.
So we're charging fringe benefit rates for our guys, which is higher. And we're also charging the cost of our equipment.
Right.
This $39.89 is what we really spent.
Yeah.
So
With
that's
those
an actual
numbers.
out-of-pocket cost.
And outside a lot too.
And a little bit for the, the guys, but this isn't their rates.
Right.
So half of that.
Motion to sign.
And so what did you bring, $5,000 or $6,000?
Right. I just want people to be aware that it seems like, people aren't hearing that those grants, that it seems like almost every month we're getting a grant here or there, maybe not always a big one. The matches are because we invested in equipment that we can use and not hire anyone.
You don't need to sign it, you can look at it, see them.
These are all grants that Dave's chasing, right?
Me and
They
Lori
are.
both working on it. Like the Lincoln Road thing, yeah, it was a $500,000 job, it
This
was
is the
really a
rate
$1 million
that they can
job.
charge.
Right.
We saved between, like $500,000 on that. Right now, it's probably, if you waited to do it now, it's more than that. Those are the things that nobody really ever sees, like, oh my God, you spent $500,000, no, we didn't spend $500,000.
Fiscally responsible. Yep.
That's it under road condition?
Can
Recycle.
I say something on the road commission, because it is on the agenda, so, I want the board to think, and it might, we can't really decide anything tonight, but we ought to look at a town employee policy for the road crew. I've already mentioned it, we would go through the handbook, look at things. maybe have a policy for incentives down in the future or down the road, to, you know, each year, the town is under the gun of whatever board sits here. And that board can change things at the drop of a hat. That puts stress on people that are on call 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, everything. I don't think anybody understands. Maybe if you're a volunteer fireman, you understand what it means to be called in just out of nowhere, but they don't understand what these guys are. Thanksgiving, I know for a fact you were out Thanksgiving Day. I was sitting with my family drinking wine, you were out plowing snow. Thank you. But we gotta show a little bit of appreciation, not just by saying, hey, thanks, but by putting it in writing that, hey, I've been here 10 years, what do I get? I'm not saying we give them a bonus, I'm saying maybe we put it in a policy to say, your benefits are locked in place after 10 years. So you have benefits, you have a benefit of, say, insurance, or you have a benefit of time off, or just like I do at my own company, I sit down and I say, okay, if you've been here 10 years, you get X amount of days off versus if you've been here 1 year. Because the guy 1 year, you don't even know if they're any good or not. You know, we've talked about this in the past with other employees, elected officials. He's not an elected official. So an elected official, they get hired. You got a year whether they can do it or not, and you pay them. That's kind of nerve-wracking. When you got a guy that's dedicated, and I think we talked about it about 15 years, I think, him and Michael, right around that time. And the same thing with Laura, you want to look at that side of it too. I think that the board should start thinking about our employees. Because I think if we were to take a poll in town and ask the people in town, do you think they're overpaid or underpaid? Not what you're paying for taxes, look at the job. Because everybody thinks their taxes are too high, everybody, right? Everybody's taxes are too high. But look at what they're doing with their job and wonder, geez, you just mentioned, I think John just said it, you know, I'm a grant writer, I'm a CL or CDL license, OSHA license, you know, I'm doing safety, I'm running the crew, I'm doing the maintenance, I'm a mechanic, you know, scheduling things, right? You know, doing your paperwork and your payroll with her. All I know is that I wouldn't do it for that money, wouldn't do it for double that money. And I'm not trying to say, and I don't want taxpayers thinking, oh, I want to give Dave $1 million here. All I want is appreciation to say, look, maybe there's a little bit of taking off the stress and some, you know, not worried about my future that another board's gonna come in and go, oh, we're getting rid of the insurance, let them pay their own. Or we're gonna dock them money now. I would like to see us look at a policy, and not just for him. 20 years from now, what are you gonna do when you gotta hire another person? You gotta hire someone else in these positions. Is it gonna be lucrative for those people who take that position? Or are we gonna go without someone? And we've gone without positions in town, we've gone without dog catchers in town, I mean, or dog officer, whatever you wanna call them. We've gone without a lot in this town since I've been a board member. It's been 10 years I've been a board member, and I've seen no water and sewer at the town hall, no water and sewer.
Or the town garage,
I mean,
yeah.
town garage,
Yeah.
that's amazing. The past board members didn't address that. So I think that we should address this as a board and look into it and say, all right, what can we do legally? There might be things we can't do. I know in the state of Massachusetts, if I give her insurance and my policy says 1 year, I gotta give her insurance. Doesn't matter how good she is, doesn't matter if she's been there 30 years, she's been there 1 year, I got, you're locked in. So I do other things for people been there longer. But look at it and try to give some sort of, and I use the word incentive, but I'm also using the word almost like a stress relief. Not, you know what I mean? So you got some kind of say, hey, instead of just saying thank you, here is your thank you. You guys, I mean, that's how I feel. I've been looking at it, and I just,
I
you know,
think
it's important.
it's a good idea, and also, because Dave's not gonna be around forever. What do you got, 8 years left, Dave, around here?
Right around
maybe.
So it might be an incentive for somebody new that's coming on to
Sure.
wanna stay for the 10 years and put in the dedication. to the
Right,
town.
and you know that a lot of people use these town jobs as stepping stones. I know in the law enforcement, part-time law enforcement uses it as stepping stones. Nobody goes and works in Stamford as the police officer when they can step up to Bennington and then state troopers. Jim, you know that, right? I mean, the money isn't there, right?
They would
You're
say
doing all the
like
same work with no money,
training.
right?
We did,
So,
we used to.
You want a good
He goes,
qualified
different
person
job.
to do these jobs. And it takes time, it's not something you can just, I mean, yeah, the guy from Leesboro might be able to quit his job and come down here. They're in the same boat as we are. So that's not who you're gonna get. What you're gonna get is someone coming up the ladder that says, I care about the town. Kurt says that all the time. Do the people that work here and run for office and do the things they do care about the town? Of course they do, right? I mean, they're not gonna work for these salaries if they didn't care. There's not enough money in it. I don't think so, at least. And that's not to say, I wanna raise taxes and pay you guys a ton of money. It's to say, thanks, here, we're gonna hold on to what we have.
Level
And
of
not go
appreciation
backwards.
for level
Yeah,
of
and
appreciation.
not go backwards, that's all.
It'd be nice if there was some stability in knowing that, hey, look,
Yeah.
Let's,
just because the board changes, you know, this board knows the history and everything that's going on. A new board would be starting fresh.
Right.
It's kind of
let's
not
have
really
Lori,
appreciated.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
So I'd like to at least get a copy of any of the
send us the
highway
employee policy.
employee policies,
Yeah.
handbooks, anything like that.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
and
You guys have an
look at
earn
that.
time?
what's that?
Do you have an earn time program?
Earn time?
Yeah.
Well, no, well, the only thing we do have is something that says if I don't show up, they take time away from me.
No, what I'm saying is, it's like, in the police, in the law enforcement anyways, we have an option. If we get called in for service, the city don't like to pay time and a half or overtime.
Right.
But we do, we get time and a half or overtime, or we can elect for earn time. So we could take, instead of overtime pay, we can take time. So, if we get called in, it's comp time. If we get called in, we get a 4-hour minimum, but we could turn that 4 hours into 6 hours. So I was just thinking, that's a pretty good incentive with somebody that's working 15 hours a day or 16 hours a day or getting called in, that, you know, he has an option to take the overtime or has an option of taking time
It's
off.
hard for him to take time off because there's nobody to cover for him.
I'm just saying, hunting season, these guys are in the woods hunting, they take their time for hunting, it gives them more hunting time.
We do get to, after, I don't know, what is it, 10 years or whatever, we get
Just
to
nice.
take some vacation, but.
Is that 2 weeks?
If I'm not mistaken, you got more than 2 weeks at one time in this town.
There was, well, before I started here,
Yeah.
it was, I think, 4 weeks after 15 years, but then they started the whole, if you worked here after this date, this was what it was gonna be.
Yeah, so that went backwards, not forward.
So I don't know,
I don't want,
was you,
that.
you got the 4 weeks maybe, Nancy, when you were here, were you grandfathered into that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, I
I
know.
don't think I did.
Well, I'd like to look into it soon, at least get the handbooks, dig into it a little bit, maybe we can come up with a,
Email
Oh,
it to
Time
us.
off is always
Hours.
appreciated, but I don't know if it's practical.
Well, not with
Yeah,
2
yeah,
guys.
I just, my work doesn't go away, I take the time off, but it stays there, so
and
then.
like I said, I'm not trying to spend a whole bunch of money and throw money at people, because that, to me, is not even, you know, how much can I spend, or how can we spend? You know, it's like giving a guy a quarter raise. Well, all right, thanks for the quarter, you get 21 cents because the government has took some off. You know,
More
then payroll,
perks.
that, you know,
More perks.
I'd rather have you say, like you said, I'm gonna get 3 weeks vacation, you can stagger it, even if you use it for sick days, whatever. Or, you know, you got this insurance in place, and insurance is just an awful thing, it's an awful thing. You're working for insurance, I mean, it's awful how much they charge. But what that does is give towns incentive to wanna chop it. Well, yeah, you're gonna save $10,000, $20,000 on insurance, but now you just told the guy, you took away his money. That's what you did. You gave, it's like coming up and saying you made $30 an hour, I'm gonna give you 27 next year.
I think if we get the employee policy, look it over, and maybe we can schedule a work session
Yeah.
with the employees
I'd
and
like
hash it
not to
out
have this get kicked under the rug, I mean, you know,
I like this idea.
with a work session, and
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Not at 4 o'clock.
4:30.
What were you doing? You're not even working, you're late.
I was at work.
Oh, you did work?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were,
I'm in Clarksburg.
oh, you're in Clarksburg?
Bird watching?
I
Bird watching.
Well, thank you.
Anything else under road
Sitting with
conditions?
that state trooper that followed me the other day, weren't you?
He's in there a lot. He's in
I
there a
know.
lot.
He is in there a lot, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's how Clarksburg, that's what patrol Clarksburg
Oh,
does.
Yeah.
that's right.
He come right out behind me the other day, it was dirt, you know, in the morning, I was
Yeah.
doing work.
I had my
I-
radar
he
detector.
He had me, he had me cold the other day, but
He's right in,
I-
right
he
in
didn't
their.
come out.
Yeah.
Works.
Come over
Near
on the
the-
corner.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, sneaky guy.
yeah.
Anything else under road conditions? How about recycling? Okay. Discussion, appointment of ethics liaison officer, and I want to talk about our training too. So,
Doug, you wanna do it?
for the, make a motion,
Yeah, I'm
We have
gonna.
Doug.
Motion to have.
Doug
right.
be the ethics
Ethics
liaison
liaison.
officer,
Yeah, second, whatever.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah,
Never mind, it's,
oh
you
no,
guys already,
did you
I
want
thought
to
there was discussion, so
Go
I
ahead.
just, according to the parameters of the ethics person, the appointment, it can be an employee, or a board member.
right,
So my only question is, should it be a board member? Should it maybe be an employee to, because most ethics violations come from the board. So I'm, shame on Vermont for kind of steering this whole thing the way they did. You really want somebody more outside that's going to filter.
well, I'm thinking
Ethics.
too that,
Wouldn't we
All right.
run into that no matter, even if it was an employee, wouldn't we run into it no matter what?
Well,
If that
an
employee was
it could be,
unethical,
I mean,
it's no
you
different than
have a
what.
lot of different employees, really, even
Right.
though you don't think anyone on the planning commission is technically an employee, because
I don't know about that.
I am,
You
because
are, but I don't
the
think the
dog
planning
officer,
commission.
well, they get a little stipend, yeah. Anyway,
I can see,
it's just an observation.
Yeah, I think that no matter who it was that's working for the town, whether it's a board member or an employee, it'll always run into that point where that one person could potentially have
Well,
a
of course, I'm
a
just saying the
conflict,
bulk
no
of,
different than Doug could have a
right,
conflict.
but the bulk of ethics violations are usually within the boards.
well, the other thing is Doug's been doing a lot of reading on it, and, I mean, I took the training, he took the training, I don't know anybody else, but we really need to take the training. And, it seems to me that first the complaint would go to the ethics commission, and then it would come back to us.
So
So,
liaison is just a communication person.
right, and then we all would, I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know. Who hears it, what's happening, I haven't seen that yet.
My way of thinking that what would happen, first of all, it goes, if there's a complaint, you send it to the ethics board, you don't come to us, send it to the ethics board. Then they'll look it over, they'll send it down to the liaison, and then we investigate or whatever we do.
So that
Well, we
wasn't the
don't-
way I understood it, I thought it went to the municipality.
No,
You could do it both ways.
I think it goes first
It
to
goes- It
them.
goes to the ethics board.
Okay.
It goes to the ethics board.
You read a lot on this too.
Jim?
Yeah, me and Doug had a conversation yesterday at length, and I've been doing a lot of research in this as well. And so Doug is absolutely correct. When you, the complaint you print out from the website, you fill out the complaint, it goes to the Ethics Commission, and the Ethics Commission, if they feel like if there is a perception or
Reasonable.
a reasonable thing, they send it back to the select board committee, ethics committee. And at that time, you guys you have to investigate, you have to figure it out. So what most places are doing, I'm talking larger towns though, this is not, unfortunately, we're in an era where it's very prominent in small town USA, ethics problems. But it's ethics problems in a small town like ours is almost expected because you have a lot of people or a lot of appointed people or a lot of appointed and elected people doing a job, and not everybody wants to be on the planning commission, not everybody wants to do this, and so you get multiple people on multiple boards. There's going to be, at one time or the other, whether the state says it's not an ethics issue or not, there's going to be a time where the perception is there, right? So, and if you read the 13 reasons of ethics with the state of Vermont, one of them is perception is the same thing as an ethics, right? Violation. So we, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, we have a perception that there's a ethics issue here, but there's also ways that you guys can talk about, or we can all talk about how to fix the perception, and that's what a committee would do, that Doug would sit and chair as the liaison. But you have 2 or 3 people with him, and I told Doug that I would be more than happy to do that with him. And so you figure out if there is a perception or whatever. And so our current situation, we would come up with some reason to rectify it. Now, we don't think, and I don't think right now with the current situation, is that anything or anybody did anything blatant. It wasn't, we know that, right? We know that. And it's just so happened that, okay, so this never came up before, but now it has. I learned it when I started being the AO here. We always did something this way, but it may not have been the right way, right? And I proved it over and over and over again, that hence we've got new bylaws, everything is running somewhat smooth with that end of it, and things are changing again more and more, but to the good. And this way, I think it's gonna be a good thing. But I also think that the board needs to figure out a way of taking that perception away. And I made a suggestion to Doug, and if he wants to bring it up, I'm good with it, or if he wants me to, but I know that the tax collector gets a percentage of the rebate, right, or whatever it is. They get a percentage, their pay is based on a percentage of
Delinquent taxes.
right, delinquent taxes. So, a simple fix of that, if it's legal, I think it is, everything I'm reading, it's perfectly legal, is it the difference of pay. Come up with a hourly rate, come up with a salary. It takes that perception away. There's no change. If she's sitting on all them boards, making those decisions, it doesn't matter, because she's still gonna get the 15 cents, you know, or whatever that extra bonus would be.
Okay, I did discuss this with, go ahead, Vance, you can explain.
Oh.
If you remember the situation.
We've had this many years ago, we did pay a salary, but the delinquent tax collector did not bring in money, but still got paid, because that's what was voted on, and that was her salary. But did not collect, did not send out bills. They should
So,
go out at least.
I got a question.
So that's why the boards, way back, I think it was in the,
So what you're saying is that because you take away the percentage and you give them a salary or an hourly rate, they decide, the hell it is, I ain't gonna do it, I
And
ain't
that's
wasting
where I
my
go all
time.
the way back to elected positions versus appointed positions. An elected position, which that is, they're in for a year, they don't do a thing, they sit there and take the salary. I'm not saying they would,
No.
I'm saying it's
Yeah,
possible, it's
right.
possible.
Right,
There's nothing you can do.
right.
An appointed position, hey, you're not doing your job, guess what? You're fired.
Well, maybe
Here's the
that's
next
where you
one.
guys come in, maybe that's where you guys come in,
Right.
you know, and create some kind of verbiage or something that says if you're in an elected position and you don't do your job, you're not able to get reelected. I mean, there's gotta be something.
Can't do that.
There's gotta be
I don't
something
think
to
that's
hold
what
somebody
you can.
accountable, because the unwillingness to take away the perception.
We had
is
an elected
what's
sheriff that wasn't even around, he went to
It was in
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Can you change it from
do
elected to
nothing about it.
appointed?
No, I'm just saying, in this,
That you can do, but I don't know if, that's a warrant article.
Right.
We did that with the lister, and we haven't had anybody fill the
This
lister
is where the
job
election
since.
process would come in, you know, somebody wants to run for it, hey, this person
It
collected
hurts you
this
for a
money,
year, that's what happened.
and they didn't do anything, who's gonna vote for
so I
them?
guess my question now is that I hear the unwillingness to take care of this perception. How are we gonna fix the perception?
I'm gonna tell you, as myself, not the board, but myself as a board member, I'm not unwilling to fix it, I wanna fix it. And I'm telling you, I think that exactly what you said. Because if there's an ethical problem, and they don't do their job, it's not a reason to continue the ethical problem. That make sense?
Makes sense.
What?
Okay, so if we have an ethical problem, someone's doing something unethical, and then we say, well, if we change it to this and they don't do their job, then we got another problem. It's a different problem. We can't keep if we all agree, I'm not saying we do, if we all agree that there's a perception of an ethical problem, if we all agree on that, then we need to fix it. If that way of changing the rates or the way we pay doesn't fix that, and I'm not saying it will or won't. And we've talked about this before, guys. Almost, a month ago now. If we change this rate or this way of paying because I don't believe the person that's in charge now would not do their job. Let's just say the person collected $10,000 last year. Well, we make her salary that's $12,000 just in case. Boom, there's the money. The person I think is still gonna do the job because they care. You're right, we have an elected, you got 1 year, they mess up, they get voted out. But now the ethical problem has been fixed. Whether they do their job or not, it doesn't matter to fix the ethical problem. That makes sense, everybody, or they disagree? So that's what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that that's the answer, that we change the rate. I'm saying that's one option that someone brought
Right.
up,
Right.
that we should be looking into.
The only
We should
problem,
think about it. If there is a perception, and I keep trying to say this is not a personal issue, everybody agrees there's no intention here at all.
right,
But if there is a perception of unethical behavior, I'm collecting money and my say matters. If that is the case, then we need to look at that and fix it. If this goes, if one of these taxpayers out there sends a letter to the ethics committee, and they just get 10 of their friends to send it, you see how much we gotta do now? We still have a big problem with 10 letters coming back.
can
20
I,
letters,
can I
50
also,
letters.
I can also add this, so it's in the law, you guys can all go and read it. If you do decide to do what you're doing now, and that's, I know you're looking into things and you're working on it, I get it. But if you decide not to do anything, that in itself is an ethical issue.
Right.
That's another violation that gets sent to the state. So,
Well,
we've,
go ahead.
I'm
Go
just,
ahead. What I'm hearing here, I'm getting the vibe that, well, there's a problem and nobody's doing anything.
no, I don't.
That absolutely
No,
is
I'm
not
just, I
happening.
I know that's not, well, you talked about that, right? So that's why I just said, I know things are going on, I understand that. I'm just bringing it to your attention, further down the paragraphs in the laws, you will read that if the select board understands and everybody sees that there is a perception and do nothing, that in itself is an ethical violation. That's all, I just wanted to, you know, I don't want the snowball to get any bigger,
No, like I
right?
said, I just wanna make it clear without anybody
Right,
misunderstanding it.
right.
This
You don't
is
have to
not
tell me
being
that, because you and I
ignored.
talk. so.
Maybe we can't do it like that.
Right.
It's not being ignored.
Well, we have to
We're
take
looking
into
into
account
it.
both sides of every you know, every issue has both sides. You have to take into account everything. You gotta make sure it's legal, we gotta make sure what we can and cannot do.
Right.
Just like we were talking with Dave earlier, can we do this or not?
Exactly.
If the state comes in and says, no, you can't do that. If Deb wants to give a permit to someone digging in the middle of the river and putting a house up, the state says you can't do it, sorry, you can't do it. You know, so we gotta look at, and I know that's saying, I love giving extreme
No,
examples
hey.
so everybody gets it.
I've had
But-
a few really good.
Exactly, I wanna build a treehouse over the river.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying is I believe, and I agree with Doug, we are looking into, and we are moving forward, and it's a great conversation that was going on for years and years and years. And I agree with Jim. Jim, how many times have we said, that's the way it's always been? And I'm like, well, we're not even enforcing it. We got
Right.
ticket book, you know, the select board has ticket books.
Yes, we do.
How many tickets
I
have
do.
we written?
I was one of the signers.
Anybody?
Well, Luke has written tickets for the dog, but
How many
that's,
select board members have written,
did we?
illegal trash dumping? Anybody?
Nope.
Of course not.
Nobody.
I got a camp on one of the main illegal roads in town. You know what we do? You get their license plate, we go have a conversation with the guy. Guess what? The stuff gets picked up. You write him a ticket, it goes to the state, guess who gets the money?
State.
The state. So, you can't enforce something, what the hell good is it, you know?
Yeah.
And what
I
was your
agree.
question?
yeah, well, it wasn't a question, and I'm sure you guys, you have lots of options, and Doug, I'm sure you, just like you said, you're discussing the options, but a simple one would have an ordinance saying that if you hold this position, you cannot hold that
Correct.
position.
Well,
It's-
you weren't here though, I don't think, when we, if the positions are elected, we can't say that.
Right.
But if they're appointed, you can say.
Anybody can run for that office.
But I thought you could have, okay, then maybe I missed that part of the discussion, but I thought you can be more restrictive sometimes than state policies and have your own internal.
Maybe elections are different, I don't know, but I did.
I actually like the
Yeah.
pay scale better than that.
Yeah,
Is it a possibility to put the job out to bid to an outside contractor? To let, like a company do it?
What if it's an elected position?
You know, like just get away from the elected
Yeah,
or appointed and just hire a company
I don't know.
to take care of
I
it?
mean, it
like
might
a
be,
collection
I,
service?
and I'm not saying, I don't wanna be negative, but, you know, we have to hire Nimerick to come in and do all this work, and it's $110 or $105 an hour,
Yeah.
and we're worried about giving someone $16 an hour, so, you know,
The other thing,
But he writes good emails though.
yeah.
Jim asked about this, the percentage was added in 2005. Whatever board was there,
Yeah.
before that, it
I
was
mean-
a salary like 1,000 or 1,500.
I would like to look at the past, 5 years, let's just say the past 5 years, the tax collector brought in, or we paid the tax collector X amount of dollars, whatever it is. Do a basic per hour thing and see where it's gonna be, and say, okay, look, this is what this job pays. I mean, Laurie's elected, she gets paid per hour, right? So she doesn't take advantage of it, right?
Salary.
Oh, you are salary, right?
The town clerk, I'm
I'm
hourly
sorry.
for you.
Okay, all right, you're hourly for us, and you do a good job, see? So I'm just saying that I think the people that take these positions, most of the time, really care about their jobs. They're not gonna come in here and say, I'm just not doing it.
But things progress through time too, so things
And
change.
the other thing
This
is,
might
get
not.
paid per
but this
hour,
did.
we can see if they're putting the time in. You didn't put the time in, you didn't write or do the paperwork, you didn't go follow through. No, you didn't do the job, we're not paying you, take us to court, I mean, like if Deb, she gets paid by permits, right? If you don't write the permit, you don't get paid, right? I mean, go do your job and you get paid, right? That's what she's gonna do, I personally like that better than the elected, well, I don't think we can do an elected. But you look at the people and say, hey, who do you want? When they vote, there you go, These are, the other way the townspeople can change is vote against them, right? Run against them.
The other thing too is, if the same person holds both positions, and it comes to the situation we have where they're voting on their assessment or abatement, they could just recuse themselves from that part there.
But they're not forced to.
They're not forced to.
That's the thing. So if you're asked if you wanna recuse yourself and they say no,
But that's an
But then
ethics
they're
violation.
also
In writing,
Then
you
the
can,
ethical problem.
Yeah.
that's an
Right.
ethical problem.
That's
right,
right.
and you get a violation, it
Yeah.
goes in, boom, 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 boom.
But then you guys gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm gonna
which,
ask,
you know, which I don't think this, well, I'm not saying this board, but the select board, I don't think we've ever had a ethical violation that was actual formal violation against the select.
Every time I don't wanna say every time the tax collector, the delinquent tax collector votes as a JP,
Mhm.
she'd be committing a violation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might
If
be
it's
her.
if it's a-
Right,
If it's a
on a
delinquent.
Delinquent
abatement
tax.
or assessment, yeah.
right, that's,
With
I'm talking about
delinquent,
the
doesn't
select
matter
board.
if it's an
Yeah.
abatement.
Yeah.
It matters if
Right,
they
right,
paid or
delinquent
not.
tax.
So that's where so if they paid and they're just coming in for an abatement, then it's irrelevant.
Right,
She can vote all she wants. But-
No,
Well, because it doesn't affect her.
they could have their taxes abated before it goes delinquent.
So that's what I'm saying.
but you
That's
could
exactly
actually
what I'm saying.
go look
Yeah.
I'm
into
saying
this.
if they're not delinquent, and she can vote all she wants.
If
But
they're not
like-
delinquent,
Right, let's say I paid my taxes already, but I wanna file for an abatement. Which
Yeah.
usually usually goes the other way. They don't pay their taxes and they wanna get an abatement first. But I'm just saying, let's say it's before the deadline and I've paid my taxes and I file for an abatement. We have a hearing, even though it's past the deadline, but I've paid my taxes, and let's say it has to deal with the school tax. Okay, now you have to abate me let's say, in my case,
Yeah.
my house was gone 6 months, so now they gotta abate my taxes for that.
Mm-hmm.
If I've already paid my taxes, she can vote all she wants,
doesn't matter.
okay, because it doesn't affect her.
Right.
Because there's no possibility for financial
So
gain.
we-
It's only the people that
That's what I'm
have
saying,
not
there's
paid.
many other duties that the JP could perform, and if we change the way we pay her, case closed. On
Yeah.
this ethical problem. That's the way I look at
Doug, I have a question for you, I haven't seen this, so,
it, right?
if you're the liaison, and something comes back to the town that we have to investigate, do we have an ethics board that we have to
Well,
appoint?
that's what
I
I
have
was,
to look it up, I'm not sure, I don't think I saw anything
I don't
in there
think I
about
did
it.
either.
so that's what I was gonna ask, so we just voted that Doug's the liaison, but, you know, Deb mentioned outside, so there's always the possibility now, so the committee,
You guys all are the board.
well, what if it's the select board?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it's all.
Yeah.
So but I'm saying the select board as a whole committed a violation. We all had a
That's the
illegal
problem.
meeting on the side, and we voted to, you know,
Give ourselves a raise.
or fire someone, or whatever. We don't
Have a
like-
meeting
we don't
on a
like
telephone.
So let's fire them, and you got my back, yeah, boom, done. And someone finds out, and we were in violation, the whole board.
Or we met at my house or something
Right,
without,
so I like the idea of having him as liaison, but maybe a 3-person or a 4-person committee
Yeah, yeah.
that is comprised of other people other than select board members. That way they're like we were talking, you know, planning board could be on, and then they would, if they had a violation, right, and we could be on.
Are you considering having
So we
that
have
as
a
an
committee.
appointed position? Is
I
that
think
what you're
it'd be
saying?
nice, I don't know, I just think it'd be nice to have a ethics.
For the
committee.
record, for the minute record, I'd love to be a part of that board if you
No,
decide.
no.
so, would that committee change all the time? Because what if it's
If
a committee member?
I
So
think
you
that
appoint
we could
somebody
do
else, or-
Well, you guys are the oversight, so if that ever came
The
in.
select board would have to appoint someone for a year like we appoint planning board members.
I think we'd have to find out
We,
how that works.
we really could say to the planning board, every year we could say, okay, we want, you know, are you on the planning board? We could say, you know, you were on last year, but we don't feel you did a good job, we're gonna replace you. And we have the authority to replace members,
I think that's a great idea.
you know, we could, you know,
Yeah.
so why not do a committee and say, let's do it, you know?
So you do it the same way as Kurt, like Kurt being ad hoc for plan.
Yeah, you know, like a term, yeah.
You do
Yeah,
it,
we have to look into this and how it's done. and-
The reason, something we just brought up here, my understanding is that, there's a complaint, somebody has a complaint, you send it up to the commissioner. Then they get in contact with me, and I do the investigation, and then I send my findings back up to them. So I'll check on it, but that's my
Okay.
understanding,
Yeah, I
and then
mean-
they'll say, yeah, there is, yeah, there isn't. But it still might not hurt to have some other people involved.
Yeah, I just like the idea of having more than one person.
But I think that's the way that
Well,
works.
if it's an ethical issue for the select board, that's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
when you read the laws and all the ethics stuff and like that, most of the thing you're reading is the commission.
Yeah.
So it's not just the state ethics commission, it's also the municipalities ethics commission. So it's just like Kurt being on the planning commission, right? So he's in a liaison to the select board on the planning commission.
Right.
Or John being the liaison, or you're the liaison to law enforcement. And so
This year was pretty easy.
this would be the same thing, would be Doug on this year would be really.
Dave, you had a question?
There used to be a position, Dave Salvo, I think I remember, was the one that was in it. Did we get, I don't know. if he doesn't
Civil
do that
authority?
anymore. Yeah, it was kind of like if you were gonna ask a lawyer some information.
Oh, he was, yeah,
That type
I
of
think-
person would be a good.
yeah, a while ago,
intermediate,
didn't we make a decision that I
Oh,
can call the attorney, not you, not Lori, we make a decision, let's call the attorney, because we didn't want everybody calling the attorney.
Well, I'd like
Yeah, but it
to,
was like a town, I think, what was it, town agent? Years ago, we used to have this.
Yeah, we did away with
Sign
that.
after the town.
Right.
Well, the
That
town
would be
agent
the-
would act as the attorney or something
Kind
like
of,
that.
but that person wouldn't have any kind of a conflict, I
You do have VLCT too, I mean, email them.
yeah, I mean, one thing we are talking two separate subject matters here. You know, we're talking ethics committee, and then we're talking about the ethics issue that we
Yeah.
presume or perceive. There were talking two different things. I truly believe that we should, I think that unless someone can change my mind, that changing the way we pay the town tax collector is the simplest, easiest way we can get rid of the way people, it's like I said, no one's doing anything, intentionally wrong. It's that perception that we can just get rid of perception. I think that's easy. It shouldn't hurt anyone's egos because it's just a perception. No one's going that, oh, you stole money from me. What we're saying is now that we talked about it, which has been years and years, now that it's come up, let's address it. What's the problem? That's what I'm looking at.
So this percentage was changed in 2005, you said? I bet you at that point, that same point is when it became an elected position.
It was always elected.
Oh, was it always? I thought you
Yeah.
said it was appointed.
No, that
No,
was, the listers were
Oh,
elected, went to
Could you change
appointed.
it to where if she collected a percentage of the town's, like, the tax bill that was out, she
Gets a bonus?
gets X amount of dollars?
I mean, if
Well, that,
If it's-
doesn't that
if she's
still?
collecting-
Well, let's just say like she
It's
collected.
still the
Yeah,
same.
if she's collecting
Yeah.
delinquent tax money, then that's always gonna be the percentage.
Yeah, but she, say like 80% or 90% of the taxes in town, if she was able to collect that amount, she
Prior
gets-
to delinquency, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I mean, that changes the pay, so it benefits her to
But it
collect
still
the
gives her
taxes prior
incentive
to
to get the job
the
done.
thing. So I understand what you're saying, and it makes a ton of sense. Like, the benefit maybe should be on the other side. So rather than have the 5% be on
When
Yeah,
you
not
don't
based-
pay,
the
give it,
delinquent,
Not
have a
based on
percentage.
what the
let's look
amount
at,
is,
we can look
on the
at
amount
that.
that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
like
mean, I
5
guess- I
days
guess-
before taxes are due, oh, look, here's a list of people that haven't paid. I'm gonna call them all.
yeah, if you get,
And
Then
then you
that-
would
if you
be,
get 90% of
before.
the list complete, then
can't do it.
you get,
I get probably $250,000 within 3 days of the tax due date. My mortgages, overnight mail
Ah, that's right,
packages,
yeah.
I don't think you could go by that list.
Well, it was a thought.
Well,
I tried
let's-
that,
let's
I tried
simplify
that
it.
a few years
Okay.
ago.
The
Then
hourly-
I missed her because
the
she
hourly
wasn't
rate is
home.
the simplest way.
How
Yeah.
come you didn't call,
Right.
and now I'm.
You
Yeah.
make it good, chintzy it, you
You
know?
understand?
Take
what I'm
however
saying?
long
Look
this-
at it and say, if she made X amount of dollars, it worked out to be $15 an hour, don't chintzy it up, make it so it's a decent pay.
Yeah.
I mean, we are paying, and I'm gonna mention it again, we're paying Nimerick way too much money. We want people to do these
Which
jobs.
brings me to so you all voted against having the position for the assessor clerk?
Assistant assessor clerk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, which I thought was going to eventually eliminate the need for the Nimerick of the world.
No,
What's a
because
license?
This,
the assessor clerk does not have the qualifications to be an assessor or lister.
Right, but they would be able to take courses
They
to,
could,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And I think it was to relieve some of the,
I think
from the reappraisal and stuff, and
I think I did mention though, and I admitted, this was a mistake. I was the select board member that pushed to have the lister change from elected to appointed. That was, I made that motion, I admitted it numerous times, that I feel it was a mistake now. The reason why I did it is because there was a new person that came in, we didn't know the qualifications, and they asked for a raise. How do you give a raise to someone that's gonna be there a year and you don't even know if they can do the job? So I was very wary. I didn't act as a businessman then. It was probably, out of the 10 years I've been a select board member, it was one of those times where I probably should have thought a little bit more. Because and I wasn't understanding, it was the educational part of it. So if they're elected, they get the education free, is that how I?
But that was-
Elected without the
I probably still don't get it
education,
right.
but that was kind of a
And
gray area.
It is, it's a bunch of bull, but, so if they're appointed, they don't get the education, we gotta pay for it.
With it.
So now no one wants the appointment because they don't wanna go and do all this. The elected, the state takes care of you, okay? So I have no problem changing that back, put it on a warrant, bring it back to an elected position. I personally don't think we're gonna find anybody for the pay we give. Not many people are gonna want that job anyways. But it's, the problem what it is, we had a tough time finding even elected positions. But at the time, I was looking, saying, it doesn't make sense to give people raises that you don't know what they're doing. And that person quit. So what was that? We appointed her, and they quit. So I feel that because of the training part of it, it hindered what was happening. If we wanna put that on, and that would help our Nimerick bill, if we have a list.
Because you could pay the listers,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
And
now we're paying
still-
$100 and something
but
an
you
hour,
could still
paying her
have
$30
the,
an hour,
you
or
could still
$20
have
an hour.
you could still have the Nimerick assessor here.
Right, but the hours come down here instead of
Yeah.
here.
That the local listers could do stuff.
A lot more, right. The
And
more they
we
do, the less Nimerick has.
We do have a district advisor that, we haven't seen very much of in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to, as a board, put the lister back on his elected position, I don't think that they can run this year, correct?
Right.
You would have to put a warrant out next year. If the people vote on
This-
changing it back to elected, it would be on the ballot next year, people would run for it. If they wanna write in someone, I don't know, maybe they could.
for 2026.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't care, it doesn't matter either way to me. If we've tried it this way, not one person's come up and said, I'll take that job. So we wanna do it as elected, and they wanna come in and see if they can do the job, that's up to you guys. The problem is that they can't do the job. They're gonna need to get trained, and I guess the training's easier if you're elected.
What, Lori's thinking.
Well, you could have a transition year where you start with elected people who come in and don't really know, and still have Nemrick,
Right,
Yeah.
while they're getting time under their belt, while they're learning and while they're beginning to take classes. And the thing is, like, what we used to have was a 3-year position, so it was constantly revolving. So the plan would be somebody would at least have the 3 years to pass on knowledge to the others,
Yeah.
and you would just constantly flow with that.
This is for the
So it might
future,
take a
something that's not
couple
gonna be
years.
solve the problem tomorrow, right?
No.
But in the future, I guarantee Nimerick, if they work with us, they can say no. That's another thing.
Yeah. 'cause-
If Nimerick works for us, I guarantee their price is gonna go up, not down. Right? We actually sent out,
76.
was 76
Request for proposal.
request for proposals, and, we got one. One back from the state.
Nimerick.
Yeah, it wasn't like we went with Nimerick, cause we went, ooh, it's Nimerick. That was the one that we bought.
They're the only one.
But-
The ones that
Everyone
reply.
else.
So you're,
Yeah.
so you're talking
Sent
about
out a-
the position of that we currently have now, the assessors, the
Yes.
assistant assessor. That, you're talking about moving that to an elected position so that that individual could be
No,
trained?
it's called a lister.
So you're talking about adding another.
We have it
position-
now, just nobody has taken the appointment. If you wanna do that, we can appoint you.
For
A
what?
lister?
Yeah,
No.
no, I know.
I don't have
We
the
can-
Oh,
qualifications
yeah,
to be
yeah,
a
yeah,
lister.
yeah, we can appoint you,
Right, you
but
can't
you're
get
training
trained
them
to
to
do the
do
training.
Yeah,
So an
'Cause you're
appointed person
appointed.
has to
It
come
doesn't make
with the
sense.
training,
yes.
and that's where the appointment becomes a problem.
Yeah,
It's a considerable amount of training too.
sure it is.
Yeah, I think you gotta have your appraiser's
The other
license,
thing
right?
to think about is,
Eventually.
The
You could
way-
work under, no,
the
Under
other
who?
thing to think
Learn.
about is the way the
Then what?
state is training or changing
but it's,
reappraisal and how they're talking about districts and combining districts and having, maybe if you have a bigger district, then you might get some other firms to come in and bid on it, because they know nobody wants to come to
The state just
Stanford
wants more
or
money.
wants to go to Greensboro.
they're gonna do it more often, right? More often,
Somerset.
More school tax. More
see
school
your taxes are gonna go,
They're just gonna keep going.
Right.
They have no idea what they've
and
created.
then we got
Have we ever
elephant in
tried
the room
to,
over.
have we ever tried to pursue a person with a appraiser's license to do it for us, full-time? Or,
I don't think
You
the
know-
pay was ever there.
no, I'm just saying, well, you're paying
Full-time.
Nimerick, how much money?
No, I know, this is before Nimerick came in, which people don't understand is the reassessment was not our idea,
No, we know.
okay? So, when that came up, it was the same time period that the lister was not here anymore.
Right.
So this added job came in, that not, even the lister that we had wouldn't have been able to do that job.
I'm just saying, if we put something in a paper, even in Berkshire County or something, for a licensed appraiser looking to do, whatever our listers does here.
Well, isn't that Nimerick?
Right.
Well,
And
it'd be
then-
nice to have somebody that actually knew the town bylaws.
No.
Prior to actually committing the assessment, because I can tell you right now, that wasn't the
And
case.
the problem is
And
now
that's-
is,
That's just knowledge.
until there's a reassessment, townwide reassessment, there's not enough to do for a full-time.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
You
we,
know?
we have some people here in town I know that are appraisers. I know one of them right 2 doors down.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care if you guys wanna do it one way or the other, but I personally think we should go back to the elected position. I think people wanna be elected, and I think that this training part of it's gonna help. It's not gonna be an overnight success by any means.
We sent out those 76 appraisers because we had to use the state certified list. So the
Ah.
guys you're talking about
Okay.
are not on the list, we're
Okay.
limited.
But if we had our own personal person, right, can we do that?
Only
Well, they
if
can
it's
do the
elected.
lister part of that.
Only if
Elected.
it's elected. With
Have a
right
special
to
election.
Right, so, I mean, I would like to put a warrant on it if you guys don't mind. And put it back to
See, we
where
have
it
to
was,
train
see how it
that
goes.
certified with a state limit.
I
Because
mean,
we did approach.
If it was a mistake, let's fix it.
well,
You know? No, like I said, I'm taking a rap for a mistake, although everybody else voted for it. But if it was a mistake, then No.
No, I think I was on the board that.
You thought it would work?
Whoa, I thought it was, but you know, it didn't work.
Like, you
That's
know-
all. I'm not saying it was a mistake, like I intentionally, I thought it would work, that's all.
So it was the listers.
Don't shit where you
Yeah.
eat.
What we eliminated is the listers. So we still haven't had a lister who wanted, so it was the right thing back then.
Okay, I'm making a motion that we move the
Can
question.
we move on to the next topic?
Second.
Yeah.
Second?
It's
Okay, all in
interesting,
favor?
it's important. Aye, yes. All right, so we appointed Doug. I just want to bring up the board, municipal officers, and they advise everybody that's on a board, advisory committees, auditors, cemetery commissioners, planning commission, town clerk, treasurers, mayors, department head, just about everybody. Take the training. It's only 45 minutes online. You can bring your knitting or whatever, eat your lunch while you're watching it, and then there's a test at the end.
It's actually kind of interesting.
It is. And then I flunk the test.
I was gonna say, do you have the answers to the test?
Well, no, they let you go, they won't let you go on until you make sure you get the right answers on. What did I get wrong? And
Right.
so I changed that one on. No, I can't go on. What did I miss?
Isn't that an awesome
What
test?
did I miss there? I guess I must have been.
Wrong,
wrong.
try again.
Try again.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's what I usually do.
So it's an easy thing to listen to, and it wasn't that boring either. I mean,
No,
it
it's
was kind of
And
interesting.
actually, we probably should request that anybody that takes it, there's like a little thing that says you completed it, that you bring a copy and we can keep a file of who did it. Because there is anybody that is already on a board or something has until I think September. But anybody that's newly comes onto boards, like if somebody gets elected the next election, I forget offhand, but you don't have as much time to do it. So just say sit down, take it.
And maybe that's, if you're the ethics liaison,
Yeah.
maybe you can keep track of all this, who's supposed to take it. Do they get, and the test is not, I think it just says you pass. It doesn't say you got a mark or a percentage or you flunked.
Pass fail. How many times you had to take this?
How many times you have to-
Yeah.
What?
Pass.
Pass, fail.
88 times.
Training completed, that's all it says.
This is an
Yes.
online thing?
Pass 88.
Online.
Online,
And where do we get it? Where do we
Ethics
find it?
Commission,
We're
Vermont
under the
Ethics
Vermont
Commission.
Ethics Commission.
Is this ethical? Here, Doug, here's $20, take the test for me.
Commission.
Vermont Ethics
Pay
Commission.
accordingly.
Is that ethical?
Little flag.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
moving on.
Yes, exactly.
Can we review the first draft of the
That's
select board
right.
report and the first draft of the warrant at the end? And just go on to correspondence, so sign memorandum of, can we move that?
Okay.
Okay, to the end, all right. Sign memorandum of agreement for a road erosion inventory grant.
So the Abington County Regional Commission has submitted a memorandum of agreement for them to work with Dave and go through the inventory and come to determinations.
This has to be done every 5 years.
Right, they would do it for $4,040, which is the amount of the grant that we obtained, so, that would take care of paying them and the 20% match, which is our responsibility of $808.
Sign it. Motion. You got the money, do it
All
now.
in favor?
You know, just the last time I whined about it, we stayed with it, because they wanted us to do it, and I said, "I'm not time for that."
Oh, I just, so, are, the matches for all these grants, are they in our budget somewhere under grants, or we're just,
They would just come out of highway maintenance.
if we get them, fine, if we don't,
Yeah,
if we get them,
This
okay, if we
one-
don't, we just.
this one I'm guessing we'll probably get, it's just the way it's,
We were awarded it.
the state wants it done, so they give you money to have somebody do it, because probably I wasn't the only one that said, you're out of your mind, I don't
Right.
want me to go, this is $4,000 worth of work that I'm supposed to just
Right.
think about it, you know? All of a sudden just drop everything else I'm doing to do your study, and then, you know what, I could write down whatever I want. Think about it. I said, wouldn't it be better if you people did it and then, you know exactly.
Kinda like taking a test and they say, try again, right?
Right.
Try again.
It's worse than that. I could just write 100 and
Yeah.
say pass.
Okay, anything else under correspondence, Lori?
I do have your 2025 certificate of highway mileage.
Okay.
When I took a look at it, all they had was previous mileage and any changes that we've made during the year we have to say. So I made a note that the legal trail has increased by 0.3 mileage. And the class 4 number is decreasing by 0.3 with the new totals over here. I changed their wording. They had put in 0.03 miles, but it's 0.3. So if this looks okay to you guys, there's lines right here for you guys to sign.
How many feet is 0.03?
5,000.
5,280.
Divided by
0.03.
0.03. Maybe I walk there, maybe we'll get down.
times
Times divided, that'd be big.
150 foot, no, 1,500 foot. Not 1,500, 1,600.
Oh, we don't want
You
that.
might be right at 150. 'Cause it's
That'd be
less
0.3.
than-
0.03.
0.03,
Was it 0.3?
150.
I just wanted to know
Maybe it's
what 0.03 was.
Yeah.
How many feet that was.
1,500 feet.
Oh, you want
I know it's not 150 because I've been up there. It's definitely 1,500, 1,600.
Yeah, but if it was only 0.03, that wouldn't be.
Yeah, about
That wouldn't be very much. I was wondering how many feet
Be
it
like
was if I walked that
150
far.
foot.
That's what I thought, 150.
How much?
How much?
158?
Okay, we were close,
We
150.
walked down here then.
Well, I only did it in my head and weigh anything down. Come on.
Guesstimation, that's close enough.
Pat on the
Yeah,
back for
that
that.
would be what I did. All right, perfect.
Correspondence. Old business. Any old business? New business.
Peter
I-
took care of that.
I just want, one thing, Monday night, the planning commission is having another meeting to finish up the bylaws, for the new sign, or for the sign. The signage is being redone. So if you guys wanna come over, to the meeting, and, if you have any input you'd like to try to install, would be then, and then you guys are gonna end up with it here anyway soon, so.
Are you planning a public meeting for the planning commission public meeting?
Yeah, that's the idea. We have to do a public meeting
Yeah.
too. And we gotta warrant that, yeah. We're not gonna be able to put it on the warrant for this year,
Yeah,
of
okay.
course, but, I don't think we need to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
Cause you guys are gonna do a public meeting,
You do a public meeting, we do a public meeting,
and then you
and
vote
that's
on
it.
it,
And
done.
then if there's so many people that want to have a town meeting, then they have to sign, get a petition signed and go
Right.
through all the.
Right, go through that stuff. I think what it is the planning commission wanted to get as much input as possible, so that we don't have to ever visit
back
the
again.
issue again. So,
If we eventually will sign it, and pass it, if we didn't, we just send it back to you guys, like, say we didn't like, one thing, send it back.
right.
We don't have to say, say, I want all of it done, just that
Yeah.
one.
We were gonna act on it, this last meeting, but we were missing some key people, input and stuff like that. Dave didn't show up, so we canceled the meeting.
Well, it was snowing, I had to work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to work.
I saw them all sitting
Call
down
that
there
work,
doing
drive
this
around.
Yeah, he was sitting on the parking lot drinking
Having
coffee,
wings here and
Yeah,
there.
knocking over mailboxes, having that one, like, how many mailboxes.
throwing his wing off.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
It's just on the main road, so if you're not
State
going
always
over.
gets you guys on that side.
Wasn't me, it was somebody.
Mine used to go flying, I'd watch it go, oh.
Oh,
It's flying through the air.
Oh,
Yeah.
Be nice.
Yep. Okay, new business. We're good. All right. Review first draft of warrant or select board report, either one.
So I just got it, so I think we wait
warrant or
The first draft, I didn't
of
even
the
get a
select
chance.
board report?
Yeah.
I'd like your input on it, because it's
Right.
really rough.
But that's what I'm saying, I didn't get a chance to do anything with it yet. You wanna read it now? You want us to read it now?
When does Lori need this?
Or do you wanna wait until the next meeting?
You can wait till the-
I mean,
Okay.
I'd rather take it home and read it
Oh,
instead of
please
trying to
do.
read it tonight.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Dave, can you read your part on
Yeah.
highway
I
and
wanna
stuff?
hurry it up.
And-
Yeah.
We need to add culvert installation to the Clean Water Act. Do culverts and.
Okay, I'm gonna meet you Monday, why? For some reason here, we could work on your part Monday.
Well, thank you for writing it up.
Oh, this is really bad, it's just quick notes.
And you're too hard on yourself.
Oh,
It's better than,
this is terrible,
it's better than I would.
terrible. So,
Keep it simple, I think it's
Yeah.
perfect.
well,
Only in the
please
bar, but-
feel free to edit anything, add anything, take it out, because it's bad. But it's some ideas and something to start with. See, I have one test and do.
Well, I would like to, I hate to bring it up again because we already talked about it one time, but I would like to look into any type of communication that you want to put for that tax bill. So, even if it's as simple as when we were talking in our last meeting, that we tell everybody that you can pay by credit card. You know, at least something that would help out. I'm not saying anything's gonna solve all the problems, be perfect, but if someone knows, and I think it might be Connie, it said, you know, a lot of people eat a $5, you know, credit card service fee over 8% of your taxes, you know, because the mail didn't get there, you know. So I just think we should look into that, put that in there.
Would that be something that we could put in the select board report?
Well, that's
or
what I'm thinking, maybe we could.
there, and maybe in the tax bill insert that you can pay your taxes by credit card.
You probably get a hell of a lot more paying if you had the option to go online and go,
An extra, too.
Paid.
Pay extra.
I don't, you know, regardless
Yes,
if
we,
they
put
figure it out.
something in here about the state increasing all of the dog fees. I'm gonna have a lot of people who want to
Yeah,
renew
that's right.
their
Dog
dogs.
fee,
and
yep.
I
The one,
just-
the one thing that I want the people at the town meeting to understand too is we were going to increase more than we increased.
The state increased by 2, and you guys had talked about 10 and dropped it down to
And dropped it
5.
down to 5. We were gonna increase it 10. We didn't. The state came in and increased it 5, so we didn't increase our $10. So we lost money as a town, but we felt like it was too much of an increase for the dog owners.
And it's,
You know.
it's,
$7 more for every dog now.
I'd pay 15.
Right.
it's for,
Well, you got tons of money.
if Lou takes in a dog that needs to go to the vet,
Yeah.
and we don't know who the owner is, you don't leave the dog there suffering. So this money that we're taking in, it will be for the dog going to the vets, make sure the dog's got rabies shots, or I don't know how the vet would determine, or maybe it'll give him a shot right there, or, I don't know.
They do.
Right, it would be nice to explain why we're creating a dog fund, what the purpose
Good
is.
idea,
and
good
increase
idea.
in the-
Yes.
People have to understand, when people don't register their dog for, what was it, $9 and $11 at the time. That costs, and we pick up a dog and no one does anything, that costs us a ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, just seriously, I'll pay the damn $11 and register your dog. It's, go get your rabies shot, but $11, come on. You know, and it costs the town, and that's why I think someone said, we actually put a list of people's names, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we do that with the taxpayers.
Yeah.
You know, you're costing the town money, stop it, you know? It makes
It's also a
sense.
public health issue.
And I know there
Yes,
might
the
be
dogs
someone that
has
was out of town,
rabies.
there's mistakes, but when you have to say, when you violate that, it's just not right. And you're right, the state, that's another thing, state says we have to do this.
We can always start a Mike's Dog Fund.
Huh?
Mike's Dog Fund. Put it in there, and when anybody comes in and can't afford it.
There you go.
There you go.
I'll pay $11 for you, Jim, I promise. I'll give you $20.
Times 4.
You gonna pay for his rabies? I mean, for your
Right,
dog,
For
sorry.
Jim's rabies? Because there's nobody wants Jim running around with rabies, so this is wrong.
But also, there's rabies clinics at Tractor Supply, right?
Free.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
Free.
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 I don't think it's free.
Well,
Yeah,
not if you bring it
I got it all
twice.
the time.
I thought Tractor Supply did.
Did they? I thought it was free.
But there is a
Well,
state
I don't know. I
program
don't
for
know.
free rabies shot, and I
Yeah,
don't,
there are state.
Yeah.
I don't know what you have to bring for proof of that you can't afford it. Okay, so first draft of warrant, can that wait, Laurie, or?
It's gonna have to,
I don't,
because we're
I don't
gonna,
have library, I don't have fire department, I don't have cemetery numbers, so we have big holes in our warrant.
So next, we're gonna have to meet next week again.
do we wanna have a warrant with the lister, bringing it back?
I would, I would,
Yeah, I'm not against
yeah,
that.
So we should put that on as a warrant, with the
and then we should
Change
put
it.
something in the select board report about why.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Listers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
something we really need to try to promote.
And we're not trying to,
We're gonna do 3 positions staggered like it used to be.
yeah, that's how we
Yeah,
have to.
we might as
We
well.
have to.
And that won't be on this year anyway,
Lucky
so
if we get anybody.
2-1 next year.
Nobody runs or nothing happens, and we still keep these.
But then we could still, if it's an elected position, we could still appoint.
All right, for the
So-
remainder of the term.
If we appoint a lister into an elected position, are they covered for
It's an elected
education?
position.
Okay.
That's nice.
That's clever. So if nobody runs and you appoint somebody, then they're covered.
It's an elected.
Into an elected
It's
position.
an elected position.
Ah, okay.
Maybe it would only work till the next term and then
Right.
they have to run it, but
Oh, yeah.
Football.
That's cool. That is cool.
Right, it is really,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Okay, that could go in the select board report. So that'll be a warrant article.
Once you do get them, if you wanna rifle them off email so we can read them
yeah,
before the next meeting.
I think that's a good idea.
Get a
Get
hold of
the
it,
draft,
yeah.
so you can-
Yeah.
Pick it apart before we get here.
So
Just takes forever over here.
do we want to meet next week at earlier than 6, 5?
Next week,
5's better.
We got 'em.
5's
next
better
week.
than 4. 4:30 is probably even good.
Is next week our deadline, right, for the select board to get this in? Yeah, we gotta give
who
Lori,
sets this deadline? You?
yeah, we gotta give Lori time enough to do
should
this.
help.
Hey, she was pretty quick at the planning commission the other day.
Yes.
You know, there's
And
20
then-
Real
hours
quick.
in a day.
Like, boom, no, you can't.
And I gave you the wrong deadline,
Yeah.
right off the top of my head.
You're allowed, you're allowed.
Let's see, next Thursday.
Step
Got
up.
the petition in the office.
What time next Thursday?
The following Thursday.
4:30 or 5 would work better for me.
4:30?
There.
I will not
4:30 or 1.
be in any position.
We'll do our work session.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Colonoscopy. Yeah.
Both ends.
1:23.
We can't do a
They
work
touched it, I'm
session,
done.
we've gotta do a regular select board meeting because we're gonna have to make a motion to approve these, right?
We'll do a regular meeting and have work session in the beginning and then approve warrant, approve
Yeah.
warrant.
Yes.
How's that sound?
Yep,
So 4:30?
4:30? 4:30, Kurt?
Yes, that'll work.
4:30. Executive session for personnel and for the probable civil litigation. I make a motion to go in executive session for those 2 reasons.
So just